On September 10, 2025, the world was jolted by breaking news. Reports emerged of a targeted airstrike in Doha, the bustling capital of Qatar. The strike, shrouded in secrecy, was allegedly aimed at senior Hamas leaders believed to be operating from within the city's diplomatic corridors. The attack sent shockwaves through the region, raising immediate questions about who was responsible and what the broader implications might be. Israel, long suspected of covert operations against Hamas, neither confirmed nor denied any involvement in the incident. Meanwhile, Hamas quickly issued a statement, claiming that its top leadership had survived the attack unscathed, further fueling speculation and uncertainty. If this was indeed an Israeli operation, it would represent a dramatic and unprecedented escalation, striking at the very heart of a nation renowned for its role as a mediator in some of the Middle East's most intractable conflicts. Such a move would signal a willingness to cross traditional red lines, targeting adversaries even in places previously considered off-limits. Doha is not only the political base for Hamas's exiled leadership but also a vital hub for international diplomacy. The city hosts major U.S. military installations, making it a strategic linchpin for Western interests in the region. The presence of so many international actors adds layers of complexity to any military action within its borders. An attack of this nature directly challenges Qatar's sovereignty and its carefully cultivated image as a neutral arbiter in regional disputes. It also puts immense pressure on Qatari authorities to respond, both to their own citizens and to the international community. The failed attempt to eliminate Hamas leaders not only complicates the security landscape, but also suggests a significant intelligence setback for Israel, if they were indeed behind the operation. For Qatar, the incident represents a potential security crisis, exposing vulnerabilities and raising concerns about the safety of foreign diplomats and residents. As news of the strike spreads, the world's attention is now firmly fixed on Doha. Governments, analysts, and citizens alike are watching closely to see how this bold act will reshape the ongoing conflict and alter diplomatic relationships throughout the region. The uncertainty has left many on edge, wondering what the next move will be. This bold action, whether successful or not, sends a clear message. Israel is willing to pursue its enemies wherever they may be, even if it means operating within the borders of a nation considered an ally or a neutral party. This could set a dangerous precedent for future operations in the region. The fallout from this event threatens to disrupt ongoing peace negotiations and could set the Middle East on a new, unpredictable course. As leaders scramble to respond, the region stands at a crossroads with the potential for both heightened conflict and renewed calls for diplomacy. Executing an airstrike in Doha required precise intelligence and advanced technology. Israeli agencies would have tracked Hamas leaders in real time using human signals and cyber intelligence, all while evading Qatari detection. Long-range stealth jets like the F-35 Aide, equipped with precision munitions, likely carried out the strike. The operation demanded aerial refueling, electronic warfare, and careful navigation through hostile airspace, each step fraught with risk. Striking in a city hosting the largest U.S. military base in the region risked a catastrophic diplomatic incident. Any misstep, downed aircraft, civilian casualties, could have triggered an international crisis. The operation's complexity underscores the gravity and high stakes of this new phase in the conflict. Hamas's claim that its leaders survived raises questions about the operation's intent and success. Was this a failed assassination or a calculated warning? Israel may have intended to intimidate, showing Hamas that nowhere is safe, even in Doha. This psychological tactic disrupts Hamas's sense of security, pressuring its leadership and complicating negotiations. For Israel, a near miss exposes intelligence gaps. For Hamas, it's a stark reminder of their vulnerability. Both sides will now tighten security and recalibrate strategies. The event escalates the intelligence war, raising the stakes for future operations. Without official confirmation, the world is left to interpret the ambiguous outcome. Regardless, the rules of the conflict have changed. The alleged strike sent shockwaves through the international community. The U.S., allied with both Israel and Qatar, was forced to balance calls for calm with deep private concern. Regional powers like the UAE and Saudi Arabia issued cautious condemnations, wary of inflaming public opinion while maintaining ties with Israel. Iran and its proxies seized the moment, framing the strike as unchecked Israeli aggression and rallying support for their cause. The incident risks emboldening hostile groups and destabilizing the region further. European nations and the UN expressed alarm, seeing the attack as a blow to peace prospects. The strike on a mediator's soil underscored the fragility of the regional order. The consensus: this act has injected dangerous unpredictability into the Middle East. The recent airstrike has thrust Qatar into an unprecedented diplomatic crisis. Its sovereignty has been directly challenged, and its carefully cultivated status as a trusted mediator in the region now hangs in the balance. The world is watching closely as Qatar faces mounting scrutiny and pressure from all sides. For years, Qatar's reputation for neutrality and its willingness to host groups like Hamas have given it outsized influence in Middle Eastern affairs. Its capital, Doha, has become a hub for back-channel negotiations, secret talks, and high-stakes diplomacy, making Qatar an indispensable player in efforts to resolve regional conflicts. Now, Qatar faces a delicate balancing act. It must respond forcefully to defend its credibility and sovereignty, yet it cannot afford to take steps that would jeopardize its unique role as a key intermediary. Every move is being weighed for its potential to either preserve or destroy Qatar's diplomatic leverage. Both domestic and regional pressure are mounting for Qatar to take a strong stance. However, drastic actions, such as expelling Hamas or severing ties with Israel, would close off vital diplomatic channels that have proven essential in past negotiations and hostage releases. The United States and other Western powers continue to rely heavily on Qatar's mediation efforts, urging its leaders to maintain open lines of communication with all parties. They recognize that Qatar's unique position is crucial for any hope of de-escalation and future peace. Qatar's likely response will be a careful mix of public outrage to satisfy domestic audiences, private warnings to involve parties, and the imposition of tighter restrictions on Hamas's activities within its borders. This approach aims to demonstrate resolve without burning bridges. The way Qatar navigates this crisis will ultimately define its future as a diplomatic heavyweight. Its actions now will set a precedent for how small states can wield influence in a volatile region. The outcome of this standoff will not only shape Qatar's own destiny, but will also have far-reaching consequences for regional stability and the broader peace process in the Middle East. The airstrike threatens to derail fragile ceasefire and hostage negotiations mediated by Qatar and Egypt. By targeting Hamas leaders in Doha, Israel risks shattering the trust needed for dialogue. Talks may halt, with Hamas withdrawing and Qatar suspending its mediation in protest. Hostages remain in limbo and military hostilities could intensify. Alternatively, Israel may hope this show of force pressures Hamas into concessions, a risky gamble that could backfire. The attack injects volatility and mistrust into an already fraught process. Restoring negotiations will require immense diplomatic effort, especially from the US and Egypt. The future of peace talks now hangs by a thread. Whether diplomacy can recover from this shock remains uncertain. For Israel, the strike is framed as an act of self-defense, an urgent response aimed at dismantling Hamas's leadership and deterring any future attacks. Israeli officials emphasize that their actions are not just about retaliation, but about sending a clear message to adversaries. Attacks on Israeli citizens will not go unanswered. The operation is also intended to reassure the Israeli public of their government's resolve and military capability, while signaling to the international community that Israel will act decisively to protect its security interests. The message is unmistakable. No Hamas leader is beyond reach, even in distant cities like Doha. This bold move is designed to disrupt Hamas's sense of sanctuary and to warn other regional actors who might offer them safe haven. For Hamas, the attack is spun as reckless aggression, a violation of international norms. Their survival in the face of such strikes is touted as a victory, and they use the incident to question Israel's intelligence and military prowess. By framing themselves as resilient underdogs, Hamas seeks to rally support both within Gaza and across the broader Arab world. Hamas aims to leverage the incident for international sympathy, hoping to galvanize global outrage and strengthen its resistance narrative. They seek to portray themselves as victims of disproportionate force, appealing to international organizations and public opinion to pressure Israel diplomatically. Qatar's motive is to preserve its sovereignty and its carefully cultivated status as a regional mediator. Doha fears that being drawn into the conflict could damage its credibility, undermine its influence, and threaten its role as a diplomatic bridge between opposing sides. The United States, meanwhile, is focused on preventing a wider regional war. Washington seeks to protect its strategic interests, maintain stability among its allies, and mediate between Israel and Qatar to avoid further escalation. U.S. officials fear that unchecked escalation will empower hardliners on all sides, potentially collapsing any remaining prospects for peace and drawing the region into deeper chaos. Each actor is driven by a complex mix of strategic goals and deep-seated anxieties, balancing national security, political survival, and international reputation. The crisis forces all sides to reconsider their positions, recalibrate their strategies, and weigh the risks of their next moves in an increasingly volatile environment. Ultimately, the region's future hinges on how these motives, fears, and ambitions play out, shaping not just the immediate crisis, but the broader trajectory of Middle Eastern politics for years to come. The reported Israeli airstrike in Qatar is a seismic event, rewriting the rules of the conflict. By striking in a mediator's capital, Israel has set a dangerous precedent and heightened regional uncertainty. The risk of escalation, retaliation by Hamas, further Israeli strikes, and involvement of other actors looms large. Diplomatic fallout strains Israel's ties with Qatar, the US, and Arab nations, threatening regional stability. The peace process appears more distant than ever, with trust deeply damaged. The coming weeks will determine if this marks a new era of violence or a wake-up call for diplomacy. The world watches as Israel, Hamas, Qatar, and the US decide the next chapter.